we all Latinos, and ain't nobody trying to tear down another Latino. You know what I mean? The nation wasn't for him. It wasn't for him. That's cool. It ain't for everybody. Again, you know what I mean? Like, you know, some people evolve. Some people want to be in a primitive stage. It's just if he really sorry about it, then he got to prove it. You know what I mean? Because there gonna be people aiming at him forever.
This man right here really needs no introduction on this channel, but I'm gonna give him one anyways. Y'all might know him for being an ambassador for the Kings, for 326 Muzik back in the days, or just overall being a solid down-to-earth brother. My brother, Cano Almighty!
What's up, Panda? What's going on, brother?
Yo, man, the last interview we did was the shortest one we ever did. You was on vacation doing big things. We couldn't talk as long. So, I had to bring you back for a back-to-back interview. Man, what's up? How you feeling?
Everything good. Everything good. Back to the grind, Same old shit. Just,
I hear you, man. So, I got to ask you, since our last interview, Trust Mula had just disrespected the Kings at the time. He was down in Florida, and he got on the plane back to New York and was filming on the plane saying to all the Kings, I'm going to be at LaGuardia Airport in a few hours, pull up, yada, yada. Next thing you know, he releases an apology video. What was your reaction in real time when you were seeing that?
Bro, I'm kind of done with that circus, but I don't know, man. This dude, like I said from the first time, bro, it just seems like he going through a lot of mental health problems, bro. It's just, if he got an issue with an individual, with a certain individual, he should aim at that individual. But I guess, he want to shoot at everybody. So look, everybody's shooting back at him, You know how that goes.
So were you surprised that he released the apology video though?
Not really, bro. Honestly, I think a lot of the things he does is out of emotions. He gets upset, he sees something, he reacts off of it, it gets the algorithm going, it gets the views going crazy. It is what it is. It's like he's a broke Takashi 6ix9ine, you know what I mean?
Do you accept his apology?
Ain't got nothing to say. He don't got nothing to apologize to me for. He got to apologize to the people that's looking for him. I ain't looking for that dude. You know what I mean? That shit don't affect me. I'm not a dope fiend. I didn't take that shit personal because it wasn't aimed at me. You know what I mean? But a lot of people forget that back in the days, a lot of them dudes that was putting in that crazy pain wasn't sober. You know what I'm saying? So listen, that's his issue. That's his prerogative. He could do what he want to do. He the one that gotta live with himself and look in the mirror, you know what I'm saying, and keep looking behind him all the time. I don't.
Did you see that today he put out another apology video?
No, I actually didn't.
Yeah, he put out another apology video saying like, explaining the situation. I had a issue with some brothers, in New York. I should have kept it about that instead of saying about everybody. And I mean,
so it's kind of what I just said.
The word is, that, people have been saying though, is because like we said, during this time, he should be enjoying his success, right? His song is getting a lot of looks from Funk Flex and everything, but instead he's focused on being worried. No matter how much he says he's not worried about people coming after him, that's what he has to think about is, can I do a show? Is somebody going to show up looking for me? That type of stuff.
Listen, when you start knocking on doors, somebody gonna answer, Like I said, bro, I'm not gonna keep going at him or even speaking about him too much more. It's just he got to get himself together, bro. End of the day, boy, he got to get himself together. That's it, bro. Like I said, it seems like he got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of issues, a lot of weird stuff. You know what I mean? So. He's not in New York, is he?
I think he might be back now. I don't know. But
if he is, he isn't. Listen, bro. Like I said, to me, it's like a circus. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not definitely not gonna participate in that circus, bro. You know, what are we going? It is what it is, bro. People troll people every day. You
Right.
just got to be prepared for the consequences of the words you say. I can't get up here and talk about everybody and not have, repercussions behind what I say. Somebody might crash out. I don't know. I know I'm not. It is what it is. It didn't affect, like I said, it doesn't affect me because you know what I'm saying. It's just like it's easy for anybody to get up here and talk about anything. You know what I'm saying? Because people are on this internet thing, hiding in their living rooms. They got a lot of opinions, a lot of things. People talk about all this jail stuff. A lot of dudes wasn't even there. You know what I mean? So it's like everybody got an opinion about everything. So it's like you just watch it. If it's entertaining, if it's not, you just switch the channel. I just don't entertain that no more. You know what I mean?
What'd you think of the No Jumper interview, though?
I didn't watch the whole thing. To be honest with you, I didn't watch the whole thing.
Okay.
I glanced at it. It was whatever, and then there was certain things that he started getting into that I'm not gonna keep getting into the whole. It is what it is. You know what I mean?
But you saw he tried to call Hocus, right? And tried to squash it or
I did
to.
see that part. Listen, at the end of the day, Hocus ain't looking for him. Hocus don't, come on. Hocus got other things to worry about. You know, at the end of the day, like I said, this is a circus. This now is turned into like the WWF. So it's like, it's up to you if you want to tune in. I don't really got time for that nonsense.
I think that a lot of fans were kind of like worried that Hocus was going to squash it with him because of him apologizing like that. But at the same time, I think that it would have looked really bad because of how disrespectful Trust was, talking about Hocus's baby mama, talking about he gonna release like a tape of her, or like certain things that was like a real violation. You know what I mean? Like it was too far. And
That's
I yeah, but I see now though that on Trust page he been posting like old videos of Hocus and everything and trying to make it seem like they cool again, or even he posted of S1, and it's kind of like giving this idea to the fans that everything is good, but then like Hocus has been in the comments saying that like nah, like don't trust this guy, like like he.
like I said, this dude flip flops like a pancake. He goes from one thing one day, very emotional. Like I said, it's like if you see, how can you trust somebody that flips teams so often and so easily? It is just he's unstable. At the end of the day, you could tell he's unstable. You know what I mean? So you can't pay attention to it. He's gonna be his own worst enemy. You know what I'm saying? Because instead of sitting there and enjoying the little bit of platform that he has, he's destroying it. You know what I mean? Because he's crashing out. When you
Yeah.
get on this internet, you gotta have thick skin, bro. You gotta have thick skin. Like I said, you got the dude in all type parts of the country, all parts of the world, in their little room, putting their little comments and stuff. You let that get to you, bro. But it seems like he got to respond. I seen a couple of videos he put up. People sent them to me and stuff. But at the end of the day, it's like I said, it's trolling, like almost just to bring people into the algorithm, to keep the algorithm going. To just like I said, bro, this is I'm.
Some of the things though that he did touch on, I felt like were exposing King business to a certain extent that was a little too much. Like that, even you and I, when we've had interviews, there's certain areas we won't go, right? Because that's like it's beyond.
Well, he not a king no more, so he don't got to follow the rules. That's another thing. He should know better for the things that he does. Certain things you don't put on blast. Certain things about family members and personal business, even not just with the Kings. Forget about the King situation, just in general. Talking about people's baby mothers and stuff like that. Like, you gotta keep it classy, bro. At the end of the day, bro, it's just everybody's not the same. Like I feel like he's like those little kids that throw the rock and be like, nah, 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 you can't catch. It's like some real like it's like a circus. Like I said, I just don't entertain it no more. It's already like I said, the first one is like it's a one hit quitter. I'm not gonna keep going. He could say whatever he want to say. It just doesn't make a difference anymore. But now it's to the point that people are digging into the past, and now it's certain people took things very personal because a lot of people don't know what the real story is. So he's giving his narrative. He's putting things out there that he shouldn't put out there because a lot of things might not be true. You know what I'm saying? So now people are following a narrative because he's putting it out there. So that's what he's going to be known for. You know what I mean?
Did you feel like he was trying to contribute to the division of like the Bloods and the Kings when he brought up the rule number 29 and was like speaking on that?
Stop. I mean, look, there's certain things that people again. I spoke about that in the previously, as far as why things were put into place at one time, because it was a time of war. People were trying to infiltrate to find out hierarchy and find out what was going on. So there was rules put into place at the time because you couldn't tell the difference. So there were certain rules. They had their own rules. You know what I mean? But now to bring something up like that 30 years later makes no sense. You know
It
what I'm
was
saying? It's like,
misleading, right?
yeah, it's like you trying to instigate something now that was put in place 30 years ago. You go to certain parts of New York, there's whole chapters that's black. You go to certain parts of Florida, you go to certain parts of Chicago. Bro, that racial stuff, bro, it wasn't even about racism. It was more about protecting the inner circle and the sanctuary of keeping certain things because you didn't know they were sending people over there. Remember, they had dudes that was you know, knew a couple of lessons, a couple of things, and when a brother felt comfortable, they get close to the bars and bang, they would yam you. So they learned our lingo. So it was a way of a defense mechanism that people put certain things into the protocol at the moment. So but even then, there was already brothers that were black. You know what I'm saying? Like it just like the narrative just was like I said, it looked like he trying to instigate and spark something. He's talking about ex brothers, he's talking about this and that. Like, yo, bro, this isn't for everybody. You know what I mean? It is what it is. A lot of people evolve. I'm not with that street stuff and that 30 years of glory. One minute you beating your chest about how real you are, the next minute it's like Jesus, the next minute it's like, bro, like I say, he's all over the place. You know what I mean? I really just think that he needs a little somebody to help him. You know what I'm saying?
I thought it was very dangerous when he started touching on the black mob type of stuff, like certain things
Because
going
he's trying to antagonize certain factions and antagonize certain peoples. That shows you how out of touch he is, that he doesn't know what's going on in reality and society over here. You know what I'm saying? So he's trying to instigate things that happened 10 years ago or whatever it was at the time. So,
but
I don't really want to get too much into the politics or the inner workings of everything. Like I said,
right.
I'm not gonna sit here and say certain things that he does and be criticized about it. I could come and clarify a lot of things, but it's not my place to, and I don't have that right to get on here and speak about it. But we good with all the chapters and everybody's good, bro. That's the thing is like, see, that's how out of touch he is that he doesn't realize that New York, just because you don't see everybody doesn't mean everybody don't communicate. You know what I mean? A lot of people just don't got time to be in the streets or running around doing dumb things. Like I said, I don't be out there. A lot of us don't be out there. Everybody's, they got their jobs, they got their businesses, they got different careers that they trying to pursue and different things and different places they want to visit. Nobody got time for that nonsense. You know what I mean? Everybody's grown. If you still in your 50s or late 40s and you running around the corners and the streets and you paying attention to anything this man's saying, then you just as bad as he is. You know what I'm saying?
You heard the King Flo diss track?
I seen Flo the other day. I was actually had dinner with him and a couple of bros last week.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you heard the diss track, and then what did you think of the diss track?
I think Flo flamed it, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, bro, I'm not gonna keep going back and forth on it. Flo been doing this thing for a long time, bro. A
Yeah,
lot of
shout out
people
to
don't know
Flo,
that.
man.
Shout out to Flo. Flo been on the grind for. He been behind the scenes too, doing the DVD thing from back then. Flo been around, bro. Flo
Right.
got a nice. He got a nice flow. I like the track. I did like the track. I'm not gonna front. I did like the track.
Did you see that today they were on FaceTime together and they, I guess, might have squashed the issue?
Nah, I was at work all day, bro. Honestly, I barely had time. I was busy as hell, you know what I mean? So I didn't really get a chance to really tune into social media. None of that. I came out of work, came home, took a shower, and got ready for the interview because you've been harassing me.
All right. Well, what did you think, though? This is the last question regarding the situation, okay? What did you think of the video of Trust recently saying he's no longer in the streets, he's a civilian, and he doesn't condone what 6ix9ine did, but if someone assaults him, he's calling the cops?
What do I think about it? It's a way to don't touch me, otherwise I'm gonna tell on you. What do you mean? What do I think about it? He said what he said. If you touch me, he's pressing charges. What do you mean? I mean, listen, he just told you what he is. He did the guap, bro. He's on the Gucci train, you know.
Right. Oh, in the past we've spoken, we said that even if you, as you age out, there's still certain things that you still uphold in a way, right? Like that's still a no-no.
I mean, as a man, you have a fight, bro. You talking about it, be about it. You know what I mean? Listen, bro, I'm not gonna condone going back and forth and talk about the violence and all this dumb stuff. But you can't be up there promoting how tough you are one day. Then the next day you talking about Jesus Christ, the Lord, the Savior. Then the next day you talking about, I'm having meetings with the hip hop police or with the feds, or I'm doing this. Come on, bro. Like, what persona? Then I heard some song that he just put out talking about I play my niggas. So, what, bro? It's just, come on, bro. Like, get it together, bro. Get it together. Like I said, he's all over the place. Again, I'm not gonna keep going with it. It just, to me, like I said, it just shows the instability of an individual. You know what I'm saying? Even as a grown adult, because you're not a young boy. You know what I mean? He's not a young boy. He's got to be like what, late 30s.
Yeah.
How
I think
I mean,
he's
I
I think
have
he's
no.
37, 38 or something like that.
Well, if you still doing the stuff you're doing, bro, that's YN stuff. You know what I'm saying? So if you still doing that at this age, bro, it just shows you the instability. He's got like 5, 6 kids. You know, this is how you. I'm not gonna even get on here and keep going back and forth about it, but there's other things that he needs to worry about. You know what I mean? Instead of worrying about the few brothers that have, addictions, that have problems, because I guarantee you, some of those dudes that you talking about, you won't say it to their face, 100%. And that's not even just the Kings nowadays, bro. This whole, it's like almost like the '70s again with this whole drug epidemic that's hitting every community. It's not just, the Hispanic community. It's hitting the Black community. It's hitting the Asian community. It's hitting the white community. It's hitting everybody. This whole thing, because now a lot of people, like, they downplay it because they feel like they get prescriptions medicated to them by the doctor. So they start taking it for pain, for back pain, for whatever it is. And then next thing you know, they strung out on it. And now the insurance won't cover it. The
Or it's hard
doctors
to
won't
get more
prescribe it.
prescription. Yeah.
So now what do? They resort to the streets. So now they turn into full-blown addicts. But it's like, you got to look at the bigger problem, bro. Like, they're giving out these prescriptions to everybody, like, for nothing. Like, I had a toothache. They gave me an oxy a while ago. They gave me some, it was oxys, I think, bro, because my face guys got swollen. Well, I didn't even take those, bro, to be honest with you, because I don't really,
That shit's
I don't like,
dangerous, bro.
bro. It's like, that's what I'm saying. They prescribe anything to you, bro. So
Yeah.
it's like, you got to be real careful what you do. But like,
Those are
it's
the
a big
biggest drug
problem.
dealers right there.
Bro, God, the medical,
Yeah.
it's just as I said right now, like, it's people are not seeing, but they're seeing the effects of. Remember the back in the day, not even back in the days, like 10 years ago, when all the housewives was getting strung out on the Percocets and all this shit, the Vicodins and all these crazy things. And what happens when insurance, they can't go, they don't go to these pill mills, the doctors, they can't doctor hop no more, they can't do all the stuff they used to do. So they resort to the streets. So it's just sad, bro. Like, that's the one thing. Instead of putting these people down, they should try to, bring awareness to it, because that is a big thing in all of our communities right now. You know what I mean? Like that drug addiction is really killing our society, bro. And it's not just here. Yo, I was just in Spain, bro. Over there, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Like everywhere you go, the culture is just getting so, it's like so normalized. That's the best way to put it. Everything is so normalized that you see people just popping pills or you see them snorting or doing whatever, and it's like everything's so normalized nowadays. Like, it's like there has to be some type of change in the community because I don't know where we're gonna be 50 years from now. You know what I mean?
It's reflected in the music though too, because you remember back in the day in hip hop, like
Everybody was a drug dealer. Now everybody's a fiend.
right, exactly. Like, but even then, like at one point, it was like considered to be like whack if you were into smoking weed so much, right? Like way back. But then like it got accepted, and then now it's like now it's acceptable for you to be doing all the hard stuff. But it's even more scary now because on the street you don't always know what you get, and you get the Fetty issue and everything. People, ODing, man.
Bro, you go to some of these countries, they cutting it with rat poison, they doing whatever just to get it off. Bro, it's dangerous, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like that's what instead of him attacking, especially the Latino community has been fighting addiction for what 60s from the 60s. You know what I mean? So it's in you always everybody got that one uncle that pops up at the party and yo, Pompey. But everybody jokes and plays about it. But now it's not just the uncle. Now it'll be an aunt. Now it'll be a cousin. Now it'll be so it is starting out to spread, and now it's being more and more accepted like regular culture. So it's just sad, like I said. And now with this new shit that these kids is all doing, that K2 thing,
Oh man.
bro, that shit is like that's what the new jail thing is the K2. These kids is losing their marbles with it. And some of that shit, bro, I got a bro that just came home. Well, not a bro, it's one of my boys that he did a lot of time. So he was scared to get dirty urines at the time. So he was smoking that, bro. He started getting seizures, never had epilepsy or seizures or anything. Now behind that, he started getting seizures, started having problems. Like, bro, people gotta look at what they smoke. You don't know if they smoking a roach spray, you don't know what they doing, you know what I mean? So
Yo, I
it's
remember
like,
when that shit really got popular in the beginning. Cause it was like what, like 2012, like 2013, like that shit really started to get popular, right?
well, that's when they were selling those first they started selling that. Remember the back then was the sativa. That they were saying it was sativa or something. What was it called? It was sativa? No, what was it called?
But it was like fake weed, what they
It was
classified.
fake weed. Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. It was like that. They would sell it everywhere, and they would say this is like potpourri,
Yeah,
or this is to
exactly.
be. So people started messing with it, but then it got so out of hand that now it's like a spray. That you can't get it like it now. It's a whole different. And remember back then you could get it online. Like they was buying it online. They was buying all type of stuff because nobody was up on what it really was. But it was just crazy because at one point you was able to order peyote. You was ordering whatever you wanted off some of these, and it was regular website. It wasn't even a dark web. So it's just
It was a
things are crazy.
wild
He just gotta
time.
be careful what he talks about, bro, because I'm pretty sure he's got family members. You know what I mean, and generalizing a whole organization or everybody in general with that title, bro, is just like we got. I don't know, bro. I just don't even want to keep talking about that subject, but it's like, there got to be some type of people got to be more aware of what's going on in their society, in their neighborhoods, because it's getting bad. If you start seeing it, bro, like you don't even see crackheads no more. Now you just see everybody with the crazy, you know what I mean? It is certain neighborhoods is scary. You go to Philly, you go to Kensington, bro, that looks like the night of the living dead, bro,
Yeah.
even though they just cleaned it up. But bro, it got to a point over there that it used to be like zombie land, bro. I never
Mhm.
seen something so bad in my life. You know what I mean? To I seen that. You know what I mean? So it's just
So so there was
go
a
ahead.
situation with Frankie Cutlass. He had shouted you out saying he has nothing but like respect for you and you keep it real. He appreciates it. And, you speak from the heart, and one day he wants to come on PS and kick it with you on some real talk. Like, I don't know
Okay.
what PS is. What do you know what he meant? He meant by that?
I don't know what PS is now. I really don't.
Oh, yeah, I don't think he meant Panda Chop, but but
Well, maybe wasn't he supposed to come on here?
let's not get into that. We on some positive side right now, okay?
Nah, but no, we're not talking about negativity. I mean, maybe that's what he meant, or I don't know, bro. I really don't know. Like I said, I don't got an issue with Frankie. Like I really don't got an issue with him. You know what
But
I
I
mean?
thought it was dope that he showed you love, though.
I appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it, and I wouldn't have a problem with meeting up with him and kicking it as two grown men. You know what I mean? Like I said, we come from the same roots and the same culture and the same thing. So I wouldn't have a problem sitting down and speaking to the man. You know what I mean? I just think that sometimes we inject ourselves into situations that we don't know the whole story about, and we kind of put ourselves in the middle of things, and then we get backlash behind it. So I just think that Frankie put himself in a position that with this whole situation that he didn't really know what was going on, because I'm pretty sure from what you know what I mean that he wouldn't have participated in anything with this whole thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So but shout out to the bro, and I definitely will reach out to him and see what it is, and that's it, bro. Listen, we on a positive note. Like I said, bro, even with some of the homies, I don't got no issues with the homies, bro. That was 30 years ago, bro. That was 30 years ago, bro. To try to ignite something that happened 30 years ago is crazy, bro. All of them, like, bro, I talk to Shaquel at least once a month. I talk to Shaquel. Bro, he is doing great, bro. He's DJing. He's living his life, bro. So
Man,
a lot
shout out
of
to
us,
Shaquel, man.
yeah, shout out, bro. It's like, bro, a lot of them, a lot of them's trying to do positive things. Ain't nobody trying to go back and relive those times and all that negative energy that was going on back then, bro. That, like I said, that was a lot of it. We oppressed ourselves more than anything. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, there was so much different things going on back then that we took something that I guess it was the circumstances of what it is, because people don't understand when you go to Rikers Island, even though they got you on high classification, you might be in a housing unit with a dude that's he might have an escape on his record from when he was a kid, and he's on it for some car thief thing, or he's in there for some burglary, and he's in the same gallery with mass murderers. So the tensions that be going on in certain places, bro, it's a different time. It was different things. It was very violent, So that's the past, bro. That's why I don't get on none of these things and talk real war stories, because how does that benefit anybody to talk about the past with the negativity and all that, bro? We passed that, bro. We all got kids. Some people got grandkids, great grandkids. Like, bro, like, yeah, it was a great time. It was a war. Yeah, it happened. Yeah, okay, cool. But a lot of people trying to make their careers off war stories or igniting dramas again, bro. Listen, I ain't got beef with nobody, bro. You know what I mean? Like, uh, at the end of the day, bro, if you still living in that time period, you need to go get yourself checked out. You know what I mean?
And this is no hate towards Trust at all. You know what I mean? I hope he really does get it together and, has a great, successful career. But the decisions that he's made, he's admitted as well, just like he did today, that he did crash out. He didn't do the right thing. So hopefully it's not going to be more back and forth apologies. And this is going to be like where he finally starts going down the right path.
But I mean, at the end of the day, you can't just keep saying things, apologizing, and backtracking. You know what I
Right.
mean? Everything you got to stand on something. You got to stand on. You know what I mean? It's just like when you get into an argument or a fight with your loved one, and they tell me, "Don't tell me you're sorry. Show me you're sorry." You understand what I'm saying? Like, show me that you really mean those apologies. You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
Show me by changing. Show me the change in you. Because at the end of the day, we all Latinos, and ain't nobody trying to tear down another Latino. You know what I mean? The nation wasn't for him. It wasn't for him. That's cool. It ain't for everybody. Again, you know what I mean? Like, you know, some people evolve, some people want to be in a primitive stage. It's just if he really sorry about it, then he got to prove it. You know what I mean? Because they're gonna be people aiming at him forever. Off them comments he did, people that come home or people that don't be on social media and people that don't be in tune to a lot of things, because I there's a lot of people that I speak to about it that had no clue about what was going on because they don't be on social media like that. So, you know, he just gotta have, yo, listen, that I made a mistake. I'm moving on. Somebody says a comment, yo, I already apologize. I'm moving on from that. And just keep it moving, bro. I'm not saying people gonna forget. I'm not saying people gonna forgive. But if you really keep doing these apologies and backtracking, you got to stand on it. You got to show proof, even with the Hocus situation. You know what I'm saying? How can somebody trust you if you're unstable? 1 minute you flip it, 1 minute you go back. He just got to start showing some stability in his life. You know what I mean? For anybody to take him serious. You know what I mean?
Facts.